Hey everybody, this is Jacob Winstead, aka LzGaMeR here, with a replay review from EVILGeniuses.net. Today we're going to be looking at a Zerg vs. Terran vs. OGS4GG. Let's jump into it. Alright, so here we are. I am spawning at the bottom right as Zerg versus OGS4GG, who is not only an amazing StarCraft 1 player, but also a StarCraft 2 pro now as well, I think playing in Code A of GSL, which is pretty freaking impressive to even make it there. So I'm going ahead being really nice. It's the first time actually ever playing him on the ladder, so I was really excited about doing it. So nothing really happening at this point, we're just droning up. He's making SCVs, doing the standard thing. We see that he is making his depot at the wall. For all the Terrans out there, make sure that you wall off every game versus Zerg. It is so important. The more information you can deny of Zerg, all the better. As we see, I sent out my my 10th drone to actually go and scout, so I want to know what my opponent's doing real fast. I stopped by the watchtower to make sure there's no proxies in the middle or any sides. You never know, right? You just never know where Terran's going to decide to build their barracks, maybe to just give you a sucker punch or something. So my drone is going to come up here. It's going to scout around. He sees that he is making a barracks at the wall, so I'm going to harass that. And the reason I'm harassing it is not because I actually think I'm going to kill this SCV. It's just to make him pull SCVs off the line. As we see right now, he does actually do that. Pulls a couple of SCVs off the line to lose a little bit extra mining time. I do scout around, and now the next thing I want to note is I haven't seen a gas, right? No gas taken by Terran, so I'm thinking, okay, I guess it's either going to be a 1 Rax expand or there's like a proxy Rax or something. So I actually get the SCV down to 10 hit points, but I don't feel like playing risky and going for it. So I just go for a hatch first, make my spawning pool. So 16-16, it's my my signature opening for Zerg versus Terran. I scout that he does want to, in fact, take an expansion. Then I can tell. Like, the SCV was mining the mineral. He's been hanging around this area. So I'm like, okay, he's probably going to expand. And so I'll just keep making drones, keep working on my economy, because that's the real name of the game at this point. Try to get as much economy as possible. If your opponent's going for a heavy economy build, then you have 2 options. One, you can go for a heavy economy build yourself, or you can do like a Baneling bust, or a Roach Baneling bust, or a Roach Bling bust, some kind of all-in or really aggressive playstyle. So my opponent went for 2 gas right off the bat, which I would have loved to have known. In fact, you just can never scout that, and so you're always kind of playing in blind of what they actually want to do at that stage. So I have my Overlord building, got drones producing, got both my queens on the way. Everything's looking pretty good at the moment. Very standard openings from both players. I like that he's throwing down a bunker right now as well, because if I would have made 8 Zerglings right off the bat, the minute my expansion and spawning pool was done, I could have actually pressured him unless there was a bunker there. So he is playing this really smart and safe. So my queens are on the way. As you see, I have no gas taken. Gasless still. And I have 2 more queens in production. So I'm going to go ahead and send both queens out from both bases to just get ready to start making some creep tumors, because that's what I want. I want to start getting this creep spread going. I want to try to cover the map in creep. So you see my opponent's doing a really fast reactor factory, pump out those Hellions. With this new patch change, queens are really good versus Hellions actually now. They cannot be kited too well. So going to go ahead and got my other queens up and about now. Got 2 gases. That's how many gases I got, 2. And the reason some people do this, and it took me a while to figure out why, but I kind of like the idea. The reason you don't make both gases at one base is because then one base is really undersaturated than the other, right? Because you're pretty much using 8 drones from that base, because 2 are turning into an extractor, and then 6 are actually going to mine those gases. So you're losing a lot of drones in that base in particular. So if you make 1 and 1, it kind of evens out your drone count some more. So I go ahead and I take my 3rd hatch, third expand, because as we see here, my Overlord's in position to where I can see he's mining these couple of minerals right here. I can see that they've been mined. I can see the animation and everything like that. I still don't have any Spine Crawler. I just have 2 queens. I am continually trying to get my creep going, taking pot shots at these Hellions as they try to drive by. I do, however, have a Roach Warren that is complete, and I have 2 Evolution Chambers that are about to be completed as well. I'm going to produce some roaches, and that'll hold off any kind of aggression. The reason for the... he actually does something really smart. This is brilliant, actually. He actually runs by my queens without taking hardly any damage, and my roaches are still building. So I actually lose a ton of drones here that really shouldn't have happened. Probably, 1 queen in a better position, or both my queens in a better position, and this situation wouldn't occur. But it did occur, and because of that, I lost 15 workers. That's a huge hit. My economy is completely in shambles right now. I'm pretty far behind, I would say, economically, right? Anytime the Terran has more harvesters than you, and they have mules, it's not a good sign to be in. So now I see that the Banshee's on the way. I insta throw down a Spore Colony, not because I don't think my queens can kill this Banshee, but because that Cloak. I knew that Cloak was going to be on the way once I saw that Banshee. Instantly start a lair so that I can start getting, what is it called? An Overseer with my army composition so that I can fend off these Banshees. So anyways, he does kill 1 queen, but no real harm done with that Banshee just yet. I'm still making drones from all my hatches. I have about 4 or 5 roaches on the field, but they're just more playing in the defensive posture at the moment. So here we have more drones, but the thing is, because of this Banshee, I'm still losing drones. Like, they can't get to their location just yet. But that's all right. We're just going to stay calm, keep building. As we look back at our opponent, he actually threw down 1, 2, 3, 4 more barracks. So he's now up to 5 barracks. He has 3 command centers. Both his engineering bays just got finished. I have more and more queens producing. I have 1-1 completed. 2-2 should be started any second now, really. And these Banshees are just doing what they're meant to do, be annoying. And they've got 9 kills among them, which isn't bad, but it's not the greatest for the Banshees. Like, I don't feel like the Banshees accomplished near as much as those 4 Hellions. The 4 Hellions killed 15 workers, right? And they cost much less than the Banshees do to get. The thing about Banshees, like right now, he's being able to pick off my creep timbers, which are just so annoying. But and especially with Cloak, right? Because that means I have to have an Overseer with my army so that I can fend these Banshees off, which an Overseer is morphing now. I think he realizes that these Banshees are about to die, so he does do the smart thing and runs away. But I have a pretty good drone count again. I'm up to 60. I have pretty good upgrades. I'm at 1-1, 2-2 is about 30% done. And I also have roach speed on the way, because at this point I'm not positive if he's not going mech. Like, it could be a really heavy bio mech type army where, let's say, it's like 4 factory 4 racks or 4 factory 3 racks or something, which does happen. Marine King Prime is famous for it. And yeah, so just don't want to take any risks. So we do have the roaches out. Roaches are also pretty strong against bio in low numbers. It's when they get into a really late game stance, you have a lot of roaches that become pretty terrible. So constantly injecting on my hatches. I throw down a macro hatch at my 4th. Finally starting to get like I have more money. I could be taking another expansion right now, which is what I probably should be doing. Now, one thing that I will say is almost like the saving grace of this game is actually this changeling. This changeling changes the entire outcome of the game. Because this changeling, I see exactly what his army looks like and where it is. And this is going to set up for my entire timing. I'm like, okay, well, his army's not really in that good of a position. Everything's just kind of sitting there. He is flying around with his Banshees, keeping them very active, which is, I commend him for. That's exactly what you want to do when you have Banshees out in the field. You want to keep those suckers as active as possible, because they're almost always going to kill stuff. And if you get in trouble, you just run away. But because this changeling, I'm like, okay, well, he still doesn't have siege mode. Siege mode's only 60% done, and I'm like, you know what? I think I can do something. I even sent my queens and an overseer over here as well. And the reason for that is because I know Banshees are probably going to be coming back. I did make a few extra queens, but it's also because I took a lot of them off the mineral line. I'm actually gaining a lot of money here, which is, I probably should have reproduced those queens much quicker than what I did. But with these queens over here, I am able to, as we see here, fend off these Banshees, which he's not even noticing because of all the other action going on right here. So while my macro might be off a little bit this game, the timing hit just the right time thanks to that one changeling. So I obviously can't kill this bunker now, and I'm realizing it, so I'm starting to focus down some SCVs, transfusing the roaches as much as possible, and I'm just going to be constantly sending Zerglings more and more. I do have a queen at every base now, so my money will start to get low, but with 3 bases and only 4 hatcheries and producing mostly Zerglings, you're going to need more than that many hatches to keep your money low. It's just not feasible with how cheap Zerglings are. They just don't cost enough. But a huge swell of Zerglings, I come and I try to get a position to where SCVs can't surround the bunker, which is kind of what I got. And I am able to bust that down. Another thing that would have been good here is if I had Banelings to morph as well to break through this wall much quicker. That would have been a great thing to have. But from the economic damage that I took earlier, I just was so afraid of investing into any more tech than I really needed to. So I wanted to stay on just some of the core things. Also, he denied my my 4th expansion with those Banshees much earlier, so I had to go and retake that. Sending all my slow overlords, which was an oopsie. But just constantly building, injecting all my hatches, throwing down another macro hatch. The key is just keeping your money low at this point, just spending, because all I have to really do is just overrun my opponent. And once you can kind of camp the Rax position of a Terran, they really don't have an answer to that. They can't just warp into a better location like Protoss. And so here we have more Zerglings I sent to the 3rd base. I realized that, wait, I probably should stop him from mining all his bases at once, instead of just keep forcing Zerglings down his throat. So I take another expansion. I have Infestors on the way. And yeah, so now he's getting up to the count where he has pretty good upgrades. He's 2-2, same as me. I don't have the upgrade advantage anymore, but one thing he doesn't have is energy on these medevacs. Like, these medevacs are 4 energy and 1 energy. He does have a brand new one that just popped out, but it feels like if you could just keep throwing units at him, that he will eventually crack, which is what I'm really going for now. I have 8 Infestors on the way, which I'm just investing everything into army at this point to make sure I can get my satisfaction. Also, I made drones to populate this base as well. I'm up to 70 drones now, which is a good number. Really, 75 to 80 is the best number you could want in a Zerg versus Terran late game stance, but this is okay. Like, because of how this game kind of developed, from I lost 15 workers to Hellions, then I lost 9 more workers to the Banshees, then this is, I don't think I'm going to complain about this situation that I'm in right now. So I have another expansion that just got up, but I'm not worried about making drones at that base. I'm just worried about getting as much lings as possible, because that's really the army killer that I have right now. All my upgrades are in that. I have the Infestors on the way. And yeah, if we look at a Terran's army, it's just, but he had to replenish all of his SCV counts and still trying to do that. And it's just really, really tiny at this point. So a couple of key fungals, and yeah, it's going to pretty much spell defeat for the Terran. It's just too much. It's just overrunning him, and that's going to be GG. So yeah, that was that. It was, you could say it was a little bit sloppy play by me, could be, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. This replay review sponsored by EG.LzGaMeR. I am EG.LzGaMeR Winstead, and thanks for watching.